Hello and welcome to another video from Barcelona. Today we're just outside Mundet station on the Green Line, and we're going to be going down the Green Line, checking out some of the best things to see on this part of the line. Starting here towards the Labyrinth Gardens, which we're trying to find. We're just outside one of the universities of Barcelona. There's the campus here. And up in the hills past the university should be a labyrinth garden, Gardens del Horta I think it's called. And it's meant to have a maze made out of trees and lots of nice statues of different styles to see. So that's the first port of call today. Let's go and try and find it.
Take me back to the top. The waves come crashing in.
Woo! So the weather is actually stunning today, but also very windy, as you can see by the looks of my hair blowing in the breeze. And unfortunately for me, we've got yet another hill. If you saw the previous video going up to Mount Tibidabo, that was a huge climb. Hopefully this one is not going to be anywhere near as long. I'm already tired. My legs are still killing from the other day, but I think we're nearly there. So let's keep going.
Luckily we were almost there, although I didn't necessarily take the best way. The subway sends you out immediately up the hill, but it's actually better to turn right, walk along the side of the road and then turn left about a block up, which leads you right to this entrance. We've also been blessed with another beautiful day in Barcelona, absolutely stunning views down the hill and also in the park itself. Let's go and take a look around. This is the hedge maze, which is the main attraction at the centre of the park. We're going to have a go in that a little bit later. Parc del Labrinth is the oldest historical garden of its type in Barcelona, and the park comprises an 18th century neoclassical garden as well as a 19th century romantic garden.
So as you can see, the gardens are beautiful on a sunny day like today, and also the trees are sheltering me from the wind, which is great. I was about to say the gardens are really peaceful and really tranquil, but it does look as though there's a school trip in the maze running around going absolutely wild, but they're having fun anyway. The gardens, I think on most days, are about €2.70, €2.80, something like that. But on Wednesdays and Sundays, they're free. Luckily today is Wednesday, so there's nothing stopping you getting in. You can just go in for free and have a look around, which is great. So I'm gonna have a little bit more of an adventure through here, then go back to the Green Line and go on to the next stop. I suppose it would be rude to come to a maze and not go in the maze and see if you can get lost. As you can hear in the background, the kids on the school trip are going absolutely wild and probably getting lost. So let's see if I can ruin the entire video by getting lost for too long. Let's go. Okay, so it definitely does look easier from the top where you can see all the way around. I figure if you just continue walking and probably follow a left wall, you would come out eventually, but we'll see if that's true. Well, hey, so I made it out the other side. It's actually tougher than it looks. It took about 10 minutes to go around, and it wasn't obvious. There are a lot of dead ends, a lot of ways where you think it's going to be, but it's actually not. So perfect choice from those teachers to dump the kids in there, because the kids probably going to take longer to get around. They're all just running, screaming like headless chickens. So definitely a smart option to take them there and throw them in the maze. All right, let's move on to the next stop.
If you're in Barcelona and you don't happen to be recording a YouTube video where you run around along the Green Line looking for different things, you could probably spend a lot of time in the gardens, particularly on a nice day like that. Heading down into the metro station, we need to grab a ticket from the machine. As stated in previous videos, there are a number of ticket choices for Barcelona. There are 2-day, 3-day, 4-day, 5-day passes. I'm using the T Casual, which is a 10 tickets for €11.35. This worked out better for me because I was doing a certain number of journeys on different days. But if you are in Barcelona for a certain amount of days, 2, 3, 4 or 5, those all work out about €7 or €8, depending on the specific one. Slightly longer or a little bit better value, but it really depends how many days you're spending in Barcelona and how much you want to use the metro to get around, but it is really useful. The metro system in Barcelona is also absolutely huge, so if you buy those day tickets, 2, 3, 4 or 5, and it's €7 or €8 a day, you've got a huge area to go around. Here's the journey that we're taking today from Mundet station, and the next one we're going to is Valcárcer, where we're going to be looking for Parc Güell or Güell. As you can see here, there are maps towards each exit of the subway showing the local area and how to get around. For this particular subway stop and this particular attraction, probably best just to follow the crowds.
So we've got off at Valcárcer and we're now heading towards Parc Güell, or I guess it should be Parc Güell because of the double L. So I think that's the correct pronunciation. Anyway, at the moment we're following the signs and the crowd towards there. There's quite a lot of American voices like, "Hey girl, it's this way." So I'm assuming we're on the right track. I have actually been here before, although it was 10 years ago. I'm pretty sure there's a street with an escalator going up the hill, so we'll see if we can find that.
Apologies for my absolutely appalling attempt at an American accent. I can see from the statistics of the viewers that quite a lot of my viewers are from the United States, so don't hate me forever. Also, if you want to comment where you are from, it would be interesting to see where most of the viewers are coming from. Just comment your country or city in the comments. So my memory did actually serve me correctly, and there was a street of escalators leading up to the side of the park. But over the last 10 years, things have changed with Parc Güell, and it has now a €10 entry fee, whereas previously it was free. If you're a fan of graffiti, there is some pretty cool graffiti in the streets towards that side entrance if you kind of turn right from where those street escalators are. If you want to be super modern and super organised, you can buy tickets online in advance. If you want to just pay with cash, you have to go around the side, down the hill a little bit, towards this entrance here, where you can pay for a ticket in cash and then use this little funky machine to get the ticket. But you also have to speak to someone, it's kind of weird. But anyway, you need to enter from that part of the park, and this is what the ticket looks like.
Okay, so we've made it inside Parc Güell. These days it's €10 to enter. It used to be free, and I think it is still free for residents, maybe later in the evening after 5:30. But also important, the way that we came up with the escalators kind of takes you to the side of the park. And if you want to enter by the side of the park, you need to already have a ticket or have booked one online. So there's a lot of people at the side of the park that are just desperately on their phones trying to book something online. So actually, if you want to book the ticket with cash and just pay at the office, you need to come around to the front of the park, which is down from where those escalators were. But anyway, now we're here, so let's take a look around.
The park has so many great viewpoints looking down over the city, particularly, as I said, on a day like this where the weather is beautiful. Is the park worth €10 entry? It's a difficult one because last time I was here it was free, so this is the second time I'm viewing it and paying €10 for the pleasure of it. I think as a one-off visit, it's definitely worth it if you've never been before. But other than that, not really sure for a second visit it's worth it. Having said that, it's obviously worth coming in and trying to pose for a thumbnail, which hopefully everybody's going to click on and everybody's going to hit the like button and things are going to be amazing. But yeah, there are so many different places to go in the park. If you've never been before, it is definitely worth coming to. It's one of the biggest attractions. As you can see, there are a lot of different areas to explore in the park, a lot of quirky Gaudi architecture, and some areas are busier than others, depending on the time of day and how busy it is in general. This was also filmed in January, so I imagine if you come in summer, it is going to be absolutely rammed during the day, but there is plenty to see and do. Two of the busiest spots seem to be these benches where you can see people taking selfies with the views over Barcelona in the background, and also towards the entrance the dragon-like structures, and also these gingerbread houses across the exit, or they look like gingerbread houses anyway. This tends to be rammed full of people. If you veer off more to the side of the park, there are plenty of areas that are much quieter and you can get some better photos without it being full of people. But as soon as you head for the entrance or exit where I'm going next, it's going to be really, really busy during the day. The attention to detail on all parts of the park, all structures, ceilings, columns, everything is just fantastic to see. So as I was saying, it probably is really worth €10 if you've never been here before. It is a spectacular and unique park. Just good luck trying to get a selfie around this part, the entrance, exit, and I think, is it a lizard rather than a dragon? It's going to be very difficult to get good photos without a ton of people in the background also looking into your camera or taking their own pictures as well, but this is to be expected at a popular site. As we head out of the front entrance or exit to Parc Güell, it's important to keep your ticket because they are actually checking tickets on the way out. When I asked them why, they said it was to do with visitor numbers and tracking how many people at what times. Anyway, keep the ticket, otherwise you might not get out.
Okay, so now we're leaving Parc Güell. You could spend a lot more time there. I think there's tons of parts to walk around, the paid part and also a free part. We're going to leave through the opposite direction towards the next subway station or metro station, which is Lesseps, also on the Green Line. I think we're also going to potentially walk past there and try and see Casa Vicens or Casa Vicens. I think it's Vicens, which is thought to be the first work of Gaudi. So let's head in that direction now.
This part of the journey was actually a really nice walk through the streets. The weather was giving golden hour vibes, it was really chill, very nice little walk.
So as much as I really want to get back on the metro and rest my legs, it makes more sense to try and get to Casa Vicens on foot because it's pretty close. The weird thing actually is seeing all the schools kicking out. It's about 5 o'clock, 10 past 5, and a lot of the kids are just finishing school. I assume that's to do with siesta. I think in the UK we hear a lot, or we talk about siesta to do with Spain or Catalonia, and we don't actually think that it's a thing a lot of the time, but I guess it is here. They must kick out for a couple of hours. So I think now we should be on the street where Casa Vicens, if I'm saying it correctly, put it in the comments if not, is. I think we're approaching it now, so let's go and take a look.
Casa Vicens is a modernist building situated in the Gràcia neighbourhood of Barcelona, and as I was saying, it's thought to be one of Gaudi's earliest works, built between 1883 and 1885. It's quite pricey to go inside. I think it's €18, unless you have some kind of concession, students, children, where it's still about €16. A lot of Barcelona's attractions seem to have gone massively up in price in the last 10 years or so.
So at this point, it's definitely time to be lazy and get back onto the Metro Green Line. We're heading towards the next station, which is Fontana, and we're going to take that to Diagonal a couple of stops to see what is right in the centre. Okay, let's go.
My hotel for this trip was actually in this area, the Gràcia Le Champlain area, pretty close to Fontana metro station, and actually it was a really good area to stay in. I would definitely recommend it. Let's head back down to the metro and catch that train to the next stop. If you follow the signs correctly from the subway, you can come right out at another of Gaudi's masterpieces, Casa Batlló. It also has another name in Catalan, which translates as the House of Bones due to its skeletal type design quality at the front. It's another hugely popular tourist attraction in Barcelona and a World Heritage Site. The prices reflect that. I think it's somewhere in the region of 29 to 35 euros these days to go in. There are some discounts if you are with children or students, but yeah, it's beautiful from the outside as well. But if you want to go inside, be prepared to hammer that credit card.
So I decided to get out of the subway one more stop further on at Passeig de Gràcia, which is just a little bit down from Diagonal, all on the same main road, where we've got all the designer shops and all of the McDonald's, Starbucks, all of those things. There's one more Gaudi thing that I think we should see before the end of this video, so let's take a walk to that now.
The final stop on this tour of some of Gaudi's greatest hits is Casa Milà. Casa Milà was the last private residence designed by architect Antoni Gaudi and was built between 1906 and 1912. It gets the nickname La Pedrera, which means the quarry, due to its unusual construction. The front of the house looks like a solid rock, which is only broken up by wavy lines and ornaments hammered out of iron.
Okay, so that's where we're going to leave today's video. I think it's time for me to go and get food, drink and have a well-earned rest. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. If you didn't, not sure how you got this far, but yeah, all of the likes, comments, all of those things help to grow the teeny tiny baby channel into a bigger channel where we can put on more places and more videos. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video from Barcelona.